Hey, you chickadees. I'm Lay Rooster, and you're in the hen house. Welcome in. You can see around here talking a bit more about incursions. These are really a big deal going on right now for the game, and it looks like a shift in things that are going to be taking our time. So we really want to talk about whether or not these things are working and how well or how poorly they're working and what kind of feedback that you guys want to give, as well as what we want to see and what we're experiencing. We just had our first sort of successful run of incursions, and so that's what this video is about. And I want to go over just a few different thoughts and kind of concepts, and I want to hear from you guys. Remember to like and subscribe. We're over 800 subscribers. When we get to 1,000, I'm going to do some pike pompadour spiking of the hair, so on some live streams and videos. So please share it around with your alliance. But I'm curious about your feedback, and so I want to hear that down below in the comments, as well as on the Twitch streams and things like that, or join the Discord. Links will be below. It brings us really to our first issue about the incursion process, and that is lag bugs. All right, the first time it launched, they started it on the APAC servers, which was just a few servers, and they had to scrap the whole thing for the whole week. So it's an epic fail. I know they worked out some things, some of the mechanics worked, etc. But let's just call it an epic fail, like it was. I mean, and most of the community were kind of expecting that. That is par for the course for what we would get from something on such a scale. If you've done any Armada events, you know about the lag and how game breaking it can be. And this is that on steroids on multiple servers. So the lag broke the first one. Then they said, hey, we got the next one coming out eventually, for those who were paying attention, which is another point we'll talk about. A lot of people, and I was included in that to some degrees, thought, this thing ain't gonna fly. It's just gonna crash again in glorious fashion, And so we can look, and I think we still had some lag and bugs and all that. I couldn't be in a lot of it because of the timing, but we'll talk about that more. I'm curious about how the experience was for you with the lag and the bugs on this second run. It did seem to be more successful. I mean, when the floor or the bar is set at epic failure, this was not an epic fail. So kudos, I guess, to Scopely on that part. But one issue that comes in is a lot of players may not have really believed it was going to go, because you can kind of count on Scopely to screw these things up when it comes to game and server performance. And since they failed so badly, people might not have been prepared. I've heard lots of reports of people who had no clue, and those things lead to some different situations that we already talked about. But so lag and bugs issue number one. This stuff has to be ironed out so this plays well. Not have PvP and other time-sensitive and player versus player type of issues where you need the scoring and the performance in the game to only be thwarted by the lag and the bugs, making it even harder. It can already be a frustrating situation. You will always have the situation of higher level people picking on lowers, and people who spend a whole lot more picking on people who don't spend. And that's part of the culture and in the game anyway, and you're always going to find some of that. But that can lead to its own frustration just naturally when there tends to be some bully picking for easy points, things like that. But people didn't necessarily expect the next round of incursion due to the lag, due to the bugs, due to the failure. So a lot of people were caught a bit unaware. It doesn't sound like everybody read the videos and the blogs and was really keeping up with what was going on. Which brings us to the next point. All right. This is more of an over issue, the opt-out versus an opt-in mechanic. So I'm not so much talking about what's happening with each of these particular incursions, but how they're structured right now. And I want your feedback about this. So ideally, having to opt out of the war is kind of a pain in the tuchus. All right. So one, you do have to know what's going on. And two, you have to trust that you're taking preparations for that. Now, I mean, I'm a content creator. I'm paying attention to this game. I definitely saw people in my active alliance who had no idea. If people are playing a little bit more casually, and Scopely needs to have people who play casually. Those of us who play and who raid more and are active every day, and rather active every day, We need casual players out there in the system who come back and stay, because we need to raid them. We need to interact with them and do that. We've got to have kind of a whole ecosystem. Casual players who are not in every day and not reading everything, they may not know about these events, and the fact that they need to know enough to then opt themselves out and move to a level 19 or below system to get themselves safe if they're not going to be on. That's not great. People who came back, and I can tell you, people who came back and didn't realize that were frustrated. I know I saw at least one or two people leaving the game after being, of course, raided to the point of no return. The other issue, of course, is the shield suppression. So suppressing the shield catches all those people who are unaware. Now, I understand Scopely really wants there to be a lot of rabbit food out there for people to feed on. Pay no attention to the dog. He always shakes his collar whenever we're recording. So, but Scopely needs there to be people caught aware so that the rest of us can raid them. I understand that I want to have targets that I can get to, but it's at the expense of people who weren't really prepared for it, for the most part, and that's not going to be good for their morale or for their staying around to make us have a healthy, larger community. And so I am concerned about it. That's just more confusion and things that come up. So we don't want that. People are going to feel like they're getting suckered in because they weren't told. Let's also imagine the idea of somebody who plays every day. You may be like, oh, who cares about the casuals? Well, let's talk about somebody who plays every day all the time and then says, you know what, I've got some life thing. We got somebody in the hospital. I'm not going to be able to do it. So what I'm going to do, maybe I'm going to spend some money if I haven't, or, if I don't have it, and buy some 7-day shields or those god-awful expensive 30-day shields, right? Because I'm like going on some kind of cruise or whatever, and I'm not going to have any Wi-Fi, I'm going off the grid, right? But they're coming back and they're going to be a player. They buy that. They don't know Incursion's coming. They're suppressed. They think they're safe. They might have even spent money to make sure they're safe. They come back. This is a rude awakening. This is not good for that section of the player base. I don't think this opting out system is very good for helping our community player base. So I do want to hear what you think about that, but I am concerned about that. I don't want people having to leave or no one wants to live in above 20 because you can never know when Scopely's going to sucker you into being raided. We already have problems with shields staying up. Now they're suppressing them. That gets us to our next point of issue with incursions. Right here. Weekday battles versus weekend. People are like, well, what's the issue? Why isn't this fun event, all-out war event on the weekend when more people have the ability to play? They already load us up with events and things that we can do. We can spend more screen time generally on the weekend and really kind of go at it, have some fun. Even those people who are a little more casual, who don't play as much except on the weekends, they get to play in and can have more fun. So why are we doing this on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? The first half of the work week. I have played in these war games where we do server excursions. They were exclusively on the weekends. And I'll tell you, they were the highlight of the weekends. Because you may be thinking and saying, yeah, but we have Cosmic Cleanup. We have all kinds of weekend events and Swarm Sundays. And that's true. But we might need to adjust a little bit when we're doing incursions so that we have the time to focus on incursion activity. There may need to be more shuffling of events and placement. I really was looking forward to getting in here and digging in for incursions. It happened on a Tuesday in a work week that really had me just snowed under. I got in. I'm already at work by the time it goes live. I knew to protect my base. I wanted to jump in, but I'm missing whatever attack or defense that goes for the 6 hours. The next 6 hours is still eaten up by part of the workday. Coming home, it's late. We're not even close to the weekend. Sometimes I could figure, I can push and stay late and have some fun and do it. No, I had to do all kinds of work. It's not about changing it for me. There's gotta be plenty of people who can't play. I mean, I'm losing the first 12 hours because of work. There's a lot of people who are not able to participate in that. And I feel like, well, I wanted to play. There's plenty of people who don't want to play, but if you put it in a time when less people can play, again, just leads to like I feel like I missed out on something that I could have at least messed around with and had some fun, assuming the lag stays in. But I'm wondering what you think and how you feel. I think it should be on the weekends when we do the majority of these battles, and we can really focus on it and have some fun with even more participants. And that kind of brings up to another piece on this. Having the Incursion event with so much ganking and PvPing going on makes it very hard to complete your Battle Pass events and any other events that are going on that you don't want to miss out on, because people are ganking you while you're trying to go about your business. Some of that is, suck it up. It's the way the game works. Yeah, but, you really got to think about what's going on at the same time. Running like Unity events at the very least while we're doing it, where all you got to do is press help, contribute, build, do things like that. A lot easier for us to achieve things while we're going. But having it run during the Battle Pass is a really good paying thing. People put a lot of time into making sure they complete them, max it out. They may spend money. You spend money for the $20 below Battle Pass. Some people, if you're missing out on some of that stuff, you end up having to consider if you want to spend some money to advance your points to kind of catch up. That's not a fun place to be when you're thinking about it if you care about your Battle Pass and everything. So this might very well be, I know Rev said in some of his videos that some of the feedback was people wanting to see it outside of the Battle Pass. So I would say let's look at it outside of the Battle Pass. Let's look at really watching what are weekend events and what events overlap carefully, because this should dominate what's going on. Maybe it is a real, like if you're deciding to take a pass, that's okay, but you're not missing out on other things and you're not having trouble with it. So anyway, I think Incursions is a really big deal for what we're doing with Scopely, with Star Trek Fleet Command, and I want to see what's going to happen. There's other things I have thoughts about, some of the state of the game. A lot of, I'm trying to sit on those thoughts while we see what Incursions is going to shape out to, because I think it is going to affect the state of the game in general. And we need it to win, and Scopely needs to make it work, and I don't know that we're there yet. In fact, I don't think we are, but I want to hear what you have to say. Let's put your comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share it to your alliances so they can see, and join the Discord and catch me on Twitch and live streams on YouTube. Anyway, y'all take care. CockADoodle do.